I am still in the heart of Volta region, specifically in Wo, bringing you insightful stories from prominent individuals who have made their mark and continue to make a difference for themselves and the country at large. In this episode, I'm with a man I like to call the automobile magician. He is the CEO of Igarrage and, interestingly, an alumnus of Morley School, fondly known as the Pride of Volta, the Volta Varsity, and Triple H among many other names. This man has been featured on top television stations, offering expert advice on automobiles and best practices in the field. Is your guess correct? Stay tuned. I'll be back.
Lighten up, take me on your magic river. Tell me.
So viewers, like how I promised, I'll be bringing you content from people who have really left a mark on the society and they've impacted life in this country. Yes, I've been talking about this one, the CEO of Igarrage. Yes, finally he's here. Boss, you are welcome to my.
Thank you very much.
Yes. I know you to be the CEO of Igarrage. I know you to be Mr. Charles. That we but people don't know you. So can you tell us something great about yourself?
Thank you. Before then, good afternoon to your viewers wherever they are. And I'm happy to be on your show this afternoon. So my name is Charles Kwasi Dagbe. But in recent times, especially for the branding of the iGarage, I prefer using only Kwasi Dagbe. So I'm an old student of Mauli. I finished Mauli 2001. From Mauli, I progressed to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where I read mechanical engineering. So I'm a trained mechanical engineer with about 16 years experience, 12 of which were with General Electric. So I worked for General Electric as a field engineer for Africa Middle East before coming to set up iGarage.
Yeah. I did have an electoral background check for you.
Yeah.
I learned when you were in Morley School. You did agree.
Exactly.
Yeah, how true was that? So you did agree and now you are a mechanical engineer, sorry. How did it happen? So tell us what happened before you did agree and today you are a mechanical engineer.
So my academic or career journey is one of an interesting one. I went into Morley School precisely 1st February 1999.
So viewers, welcome back. Yes, you saw that short video. iCard. So you can send your card there. They will service it to your phone. Yes, by possibility to work for you. You know you can trust my own. See it. Yes, boss. So I was asking about your education chain. Yes, so you were saying it's about the school and what you still say you can't do it. So let's take it from there.
All right. So as a consideration, so I got to Mali school with aggregate 10, and Mali wouldn't admit me with 10 in the science classes.
10 after.
Aggregate 10, yes. So surprisingly, today we see people with 30, 40 reading sciences, and it's amazing. So,
Who are we to blame for that?
yeah, I think times have changed. So, exactly. So, coming into Mauli with 10, and my second choice was business administration. So, I was actually admitted into the business administration class. But I came to Mali already prepared for science, and my mind was, I had already even copied some of the science notes. For instance, physics, I had physics notes, I had chemistry notes, I had bought some of the textbooks, even during the vacation. Before coming, getting the admission letter. So getting the admission letter, and it was business administration, it was kind of a huge paradigm shift for me. And I saw it as a total shift in my career aspirations, which I felt no, was not what I wanted at the time. I then decided that no, if I have to read administration, business administration, then I rather jump down further to agric science, because at the time agric science was doing physics chemistry. So if I could do physics chemistry very well, then after the 3 years, I could top it up with either mathematics to go to College of Engineering, or biology to go to School of Medical Sciences at the time. So that was what brought me into Mali school. So I came into Mali, I think, I don't know if I have to say, totally disappointed. On the 1st of February, I reported to Baita Park, that's 1999, when people were happy, people were moving around. I was very moody because I felt that is, the course isn't what I wanted to read. But then, and at that time, I didn't even have any glimmer of hope as to whether I was going to be able to change it. But I had to come to school. Then I also came to school one day at a time. So whilst in Mauli, we had gone through the orientation, people had been sent to their classrooms and everything. So I started finding possibilities of changing the business administration to agric science. And you know what? Interestingly enough, the head of department at the time, one Mr. Akodo, comes from Vobankwe, where I also come from. So I knew him because sometimes I go to Vobankwe Catholic Church. Yes, so when I inquired and I was told that he was the head of agric department, I told myself, okay, I could approach him to see what he could do for me. So I went to Mr. Akodo. I waited for him at Baita Park one afternoon because I kind of followed him for about a week or so. So I could tell his movement around campus. I knew he comes to school around this time, parks his vehicle here. So mostly he was parking at Baita Park at the time. Kind of. So around 10, he would come to school because maybe that is when his classes kind of started from. So I waited for him at Baita Park. He came in. I went to introduce myself to him. And he was like, okay, I told him I've been offered business administration, but I don't like it. I don't want to become an accountant or whatever. I see myself as a science student. But for the fact that I can't go into the science class, I think if I go into agri class, I may have a foot into the science class, and in future I could just take my other foot into it. So then he told me that it's not going to be an easy change. There's going to be a form in about 2 weeks' time to give opportunity for people who wants to change. So when that form comes, then I should also write my name on it. But then he mentioned some conditions. The first condition is that you should find somebody in a business class, or you should find somebody in a agri class who also wants to come to business class. Then you could swap with that person. Just wait for the main challenge. The main challenge was that finding the person was running now. The person should have the same grade. So if I have to go to a Greek class now, I should go and find somebody in a Greek who is willing to come to business with aggregate 10. If it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 or whatever, it's unacceptable. Just 10. So that kind of was like, how is this going to be possible? But I decided to give it a try. And at that time, I just can't remember what was actually motivating me. So one day I went to stand in front of the Greek class. Then I'm like, hello, hello, hello. Then I got the attention of almost everybody in the class. I'm like, okay, I'm from a business administration with aggregate 10, but I want to change to agric. Do we have somebody who is also in agric who wants to change to business administration? Then one guy raised his hand. Unfortunately, I forgot that guy's name now. I've been looking for the name anyway. I think I have to.
Sorry, wherever you are. Yeah, sorry for not remembering your name.
I am going to set out on a project to look for him for obvious reasons. So the guy raised his hand. Then I was like, oh, okay. I got his name and everything. And then we wrote. So when the list came out, I wrote my name. Then I followed up to him to ensure that he also wrote his name. He was not very enthusiastic about changing. He only expressed the interest. I felt maybe he was not there. There was nothing pushing him. So I had to do the work if that project was to see the light of day. So I followed him. And before the list came, I had already started lobbying. You know what I was doing? I was a day student at the time. But when I closed from school, he was in Agri House. So I followed him to his house. It was a border. And you know, first year, there was always a punishment for the borders. So I could go to him and ask him if he had any work to do, then I would do that work for him. If he has to, Saturdays, I could come to campus and wash his clothes for him. Just to be able to convince him, to change the program, because I felt that was an opportunity I didn't want to miss. And he was not, like I said earlier, very enthusiastic about the whole issue. So, but I needed it to be able to go to my engineering or my medical sciences. So whatever I could do at the time, I was ready to do it. Go and weed his plots, everything, get his dirty dresses and wash for him. And lo and behold, when the time came, he also wrote his name and the swap was made. Interestingly, we had done more than almost a month before that swap took place. But because I had most of the physics chemistry notes ready, when I got to that grade class, they had gone very far. But I was able to catch up. I caught up so fast that at the time, only first term and second term, they'll collect your results, and the first 10 in the class, they will select them for the award of government bursary, a scholarship kind of, that you will be exempted from paying school fees. So that exercise was done, and God being so good, I came out as the first in the class. So
business administration. Spent 1-2 months in the business administration class. Also, presidency involved in the swapping of the cheese. Became the first in the Greek class. Interesting.
So I became the first in the class. Then the work started. I knew at the time that I had a mission. My mission was not just to pass agric. My mission was to be able to pass those agric, but pass physics and chemistry very well. So I could be able to add elective maths or biology to it, depending on the dynamics at the time, then progress further from that stage. In my effort to achieving that goal, it kind of earned me a position as one of the best students in both physics and chemistry in the 2001 batch. I finished Maoli school, then I got admission into KUSC 2002 into Agric, to read Agric and KUSC. At the time, it was kind of a dilemma. Do I stay home and kind of do my mathematics and go to the next with the next batch, or do I go to school and study alongside and come back and write and rather reapply for the 2003 entry? Because looking at the short period for which we're going to stay home, and my interest actually shifted from biology to mathematics. So by January 2002, I had enrolled in a remedial class for mathematics. So I started in Hope. And then our admission came in. I think I guess September, I had to leave for Kumasi to go and start my agri program. I left by November, NOVDEC, I came back to write my mathematics. I got a B and I added to my grades and got admission into College of Engineering to read mechanical engineering. So that was how I shifted from my Greek to mechanical engineering. Yes.
Let's move to the business aspects. We now know how you shifted from agri to mechanical engineer. What happened? The business they did, and how? Because I'm sure that what really happened to you in Morris gave him some kind of energy and mindset that everything is possible. The business aspect, however.
Oh, you're right. I think it's a reason why I always come back to Maui, because my stay here has really built some kind of resilience and toughness into me. So it's being able to do that shift kind of was the beginning of the belief that everything was possible. So the iGarage business actually started from a situation. After Tech 2007, 2008, I finished my national service. I got a job with a company, I think precisely NCR Ghana. Then after 1 year, I lost that job because we lost our main contract, for which reason I was picked for. We lost that contract, then I had to go home. I stayed.
Company that you were working for, what did
I see how at the time, if you look at most of the ATM machines in town, you'll see NCR. So NCR is mainly into ATM machines. It's an American company that manufactures and services ATM machines. So I got laid off. I stayed home for 1 year, 1 full year before getting another job. That job came as a TBL water resources. Yes, so we went to borehole drilling, underground water. So I think at the time I was a drilling and maintenance manager for TBL. So my job at the time was to, one, ensure that the boreholes we won with the government of Ghana or the NGOs or whatever, I led the drilling of those boreholes, and also ensure that the vehicles, the fleet of vehicles, being it the saloon cars, the pickup, or the trucks, were in good condition. So I was doing maintenance on the equipment and also ensuring that production or the borehole drilling was good. Unfortunately, that job also ended just a year on.
and what was the
Yeah. So then I came back to ground zero. When I got back to ground zero, then losing 2 jobs in 3 years kind of it affected me. I began to kind of entertain that thought of whether I am not good or kind of thing, or I was not a very good engineer. I think sometimes people are attach some spiritual or religious dimensions to some of these things. So I remember going to a church, and some of the pastors will tell you okay, this is right, family issue, generational cares, and all those things. They have to do other things to be able to kind of cleanse you. But I didn't believe any of those things. You know why? When I was in TBL and even NCR, I felt, especially NCR, I felt I was more of a mechanical person. But my job with NCR was skewed towards IT. And I didn't want to spend a lot of time in IT. Otherwise, I would have forgotten the mechanical, or I would have lost a lot of value when it comes to the mechanical. And the, 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 the energy to progress far in the IT too was not there because I was not interested. So I was looking for an avenue to kind of stop the job. So when the job ended, and also TBL, there were some challenges over there. So one time I just sat down and I told myself, but you wanted to get out of this job. It could be God pushing you out so that you go into exactly what you wanted. So once at home, I think one of the nights coming back, I was given 1 month before I stopped finally with TBL. So once coming home, then something drew my attention to the vehicle's dashboard. So I saw lights on the dashboard. I asked the driver about what light is that, and he didn't know. I'm like, really? So from that time, every time I sit in the vehicle, I'll be like, what light is that? I needed, when the two job loss came, or the second one, I told myself, then it means this life is not going to be a straight line. I needed to do something on my own, or I needed to establish something by myself, so that in the event that issues like this come up in future, I'll have some kind of buffer to live on. So what was I going to do? Even before then, I stayed home 1 year before, and by that time I had already even started a family. So I had a young daughter and a wife. So looking at those people, how am I going to kind of cater for them? So my initial thought was to buy a taxi and be driving before the next job came around. I bounced that idea with some people. Some of them agreed to it, some of them felt that, but you, a mechanical engineer driving taxi in Accra, isn't that kind of bringing yourself down? But I told them, okay, if I have to move around asking people for money and driving my own taxi, I think driving the taxi was better. So whilst preparing for the taxi, to buy the taxi, then that was when I started the idea of the lights. And within my circle, people started complaining, this mechanic has damaged my vehicle, this one has done this to my vehicle. So in summary, I decided to buy a diagnostic machine to rather start diagnosing vehicles for people. So at the time I registered the company EAD Engineering. It wasn't Igarrage at the time. I imported that it was $1,000 at the time, but then the dollar to CD was 1:1. So I had 1,000 Ghana cedis somewhere that I pulled and purchased that diagnostic machine. The machine came early in the morning. I was also able to buy a used vehicle, Audi 80. Early in the morning, I could dress up, carry my box, and drive around Adenta, Medina, Botue, Enclave, the fitting shops, the washing bays, and all anywhere I could see a vehicle to convince people that please let me diagnose your vehicle. Please let me diagnose the vehicle. People were welcoming. They liked the idea. But then one thing became so clear that you can't tell somebody what the problem is by not being able to resolve it. So I only had a diagnostic machine. So I diagnose 5 minutes. I said, oh, the machine says this. I wasn't able to solve it. So it was making the whole thing very slow and unattractive to me. So it got to a point I decided, no, this can't go on. Because when I charge people 50 Ghana cedis at the time, some of them would just say, okay, take 20, take 30. And I could drive sometimes the whole day in town and come home not even with 100 Ghana cedis. So I thought that the demand on me at the time and what I was getting were not commensurating, were not balancing out. So I needed to do something further. That was when I decided that No, okay. I needed to pick a job. If I get a job, I could get more money and save money, buy toolings, set up my own shop. Then people will come now. Now it won't just be diagnosing, but you will diagnose and also be able to fix the problem for them. That is when the real money may start coming from. So then I started scouting for jobs until I got a job with General Electric as a field service engineer for Middle East Africa. Yeah.
So I was very through the page, the Igarrage page, and I came across a communique from the CDB that there was, according to what was written on the communique, and this communication between your workers and the customer. Is it an emergency that normally happens at iGarage, or it was just a one-time piece?
Wow, wow, wow. I think this will be the first time speaking about that issue to the media on that, and you've caught me unaware. It's,
We did a lot of background check.
we haven't since it happened. I haven't spoken about it because I thought the time was not right to actually talk about it.
But it is too okay.
No, I could just touch. There's nothing because what happened actually in the long effect came to help the garage instead. So, and those things must happen in the within the life cycle of every business, depending on which part of the spectrum you belong to. It either helps you or it rather pushes you down. And I'm happy to say that it has rather helped us to experience more growth between June. I think it's just about 4 months or whatever ago. So the that was the first time it happened over there. That was the first time it happened, and I also want to use this opportunity to kind of once again apologize to whoever or anybody who was concerned on that issue. So when vehicle came in, I'll not go into details, but then a customer complained. At the time of the complaint, honestly, I didn't even know iGarage was that big. Even though we're already doing media engagement with the radio stations and the TVs, yes, we didn't know that, or I personally didn't know that we were that big. And for that matter, there were a lot of eyes on me. So when the gentleman posted the thing on on Facebook, my initial response was that of a joke. Maybe I should have added an emoji to it indicating that, oh, yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, or I could have just ignored it. But then I think the response that, okay, negative responses or negative publicities also help grow businesses. Kind of, it was like pouring fuel into a fire, and we were very popular, or we became very, very popular between the 25th and the 26th of June. But the benefit of it is that it also helped us to, or it helped me to kind of at one know that hey, the brand has become so big, because I had calls all over Ghana that day. I had calls outside Ghana. People were calling to find out what was happening, and surprisingly, it's like we were doing the positives. It's like we could write things, educating people and everybody, and the euphoria was never that big until that day when there was a negative issue. Then I was like, so people don't really pay attention to the positives, but they pay attention to the negatives. So we have actually moved on from there. We have made the necessary changes at the garage. We now we understand the customers better, and we put in processes and policies to kind of prevent or minimize the reoccurrence of that. Once you're in business, you should also be prepared that some of these things will happen. But when it happens, your response to it kind of play a big role as to whether it should become a big issue or a small issue.
So let's go back to country. what would you say you can go today? Yeah. How do you balance your work in being the CEO of Igarrage and being a member of the UMSU community? Because you are your own CEO, and in the association, the UMSU Union, I don't think it grew any executive position. How do you balance it?
So presently, I don't hold any executive position in
But you have
also.
the intention of protest.
I haven't even thought of it.
Okay.
It's not.
Wanted to campaign for you.
No, no, no. It's not something I've thought of. But you see, I have so much love for Maule School because I think I spent some of my formative stages here. I take a lot of values from here, not just the brain work, but also having a very good heart towards people and the ability to kind of work with your hand. You understand? When the people come to iGarage, some of them do not believe that I own iGarage because there's nothing like this is the boss. I sleep on the ground to fix vehicles.
I have to tell her that it will be on the screen. You will see it. Why do you ever see the car and so I saw it.
I sleep on the ground. Just last week, there was a last Sunday. When I was closing Saturday afternoon, I realized that no, our front over there was the wheels are broken. So, and I didn't want to kind of allow that thing to come into Monday. And at the time, I felt, okay, telling the guys to say, come and wait or whatever. Some of these guys are university graduates, university students, and things. So, somebody will feel like, oh,
Graduate doesn't matter. You are the CEO.
somebody will feel like, oh, I came here to fix vehicles. Why are you asking me to come and weed? So I decided, okay, Sunday, dawn, I'll come there and weed the place myself. Not necessarily because I had other things to do in the day. So just to squeeze in some hour or two to be able to weed the place. I have a nephew who stays with me. So by Sunday, we were there. We got there around 6. We couldn't even make it. We couldn't even make it in the as early as we thought. So we came there by 6 and we started weeding. God being so good, one of the workers in the yard also joined us, and we cleaned the place up. So I don't act as the CEO at iGarage. Whatever it is, if they have to go and test drive a vehicle, they have to send a vehicle to the washing bay, they have to send a vehicle to alignment or whatever. I do all those myself.
He said, means the motto of all this actually impacted me.
Yeah.
Because boarding school had hard town.
Exactly.
And yes, he's using his head to the man because he came from business administration,
Yeah.
went to Agric and became the best student over there. Now, he being a CEO and prevents him from doing things that the employees or the laborers are to be doing it to be. So that's really great. That's really good. And so you were saying something about your work.
Yeah, so you see, iGarage, the I, people ask me, why the I?
The iPhone.
Not really. Yeah. Inter. So the I is one, Internet of Things. We don't want to be limited by geographical location. That is why we run some webness and things to educate the general public. So the essence of the garage is not just to fix vehicles. I said we want to kind of establish a training school where we can help develop the next generation of automobile engineers for Ghana. That is the main reason why this thing is set up. I tell people, if it's because we want to get money, then I would have still remained in my field engineer program, because as at the time of visiting the field 2020, I was one of the I visited as a senior field engineer for G. And that time, I was also the most trained field engineer for Sub-Saharan Africa when it comes to gas turbines. So there was a lot of opportunities, even today. and there was the money over there was also good. Nothing compared to what we get from the garage. But the garage is set up to also give back to society. You understand all the learning, everything that I've gotten from wherever, from Mali to Tech and everything. So also set up something and give back as a legacy. So iGarage, we have cameras there that even sitting here, I'm able to monitor the garage remotely. You understand? I could switch into the garage, see what everybody is doing. So I don't necessarily have to be there physically before directing affairs over there. When they pick diagnostic reports in the garage, they are able to send it to me wherever I am. I could look through and advise that, okay, this is what you have to do or that. Exactly. So that kind of IT leverage it's helping me to kind of have time for other things, including homeschool. So I don't necessarily need to be physically present there. And I also have competent people at the garage who sit in for me to do the physical works. Because even if I could log into the garage remotely, if there is a need to touch things, because this work is handy, you have to put your hands in it. So my team is very strong and able to sit in for me anytime I am out.
Let's wrap up with the UNC aspect. Being a member of the UNC, what role does the union plays, or how does the union help its members?
So it's a direct and indirect benefit. Directly, you are able to, I think, in the course of my academic journey and business, I have met Malians or old students who have been very good for me. This thing that we spoke about earlier, the incident that happened at the garage. I think when the thing happened and it was snowballing, it was flying all over the internet. I had Malians who came up that hey, we can't allow this thing to go. So even the response that we put, the initial response, or the communique we put on online, they were Malians who supported in drafting that and putting it online. I've met Malians who have given business opportunities to me, but indirectly, the motivation aspect, knowing that this guy is a Malian or an old student, kind of motivates you in your small corner. Okay, I have this guy who is a Malian who is doing very well, so I can't just give up. I can't relax. So if this guy is, and we come to programs like this, and you meet the person in person, or you meet the person physically, then you're able to interact and all those things. You are not asking for any help or anything from the person, but just to know that you are within the same circle with this person is motivating. So also, the benefit is that physically, when you need something or you need help, not financial, but any help, okay, to get through to somebody or to get something that there are Malians scattered all over the world that you could reach out to. Then you come for programs like this. Just between last night and today that I got here, if I tell you the number of people who have interacted with me, who have at least even encouraged that, oh, iGarage, you are doing a very good job, continue doing it. It's very motivating just to belong to such a family that you know that people are watching your back.
Okay. So since this content, this is shipping session, we are facing our main purpose. What do you have for students who are aspiring to be to or talks a bit now?
Every time I come to Mali, I actually do not come to Mali just to have fun. Last night, I had a session with some of the students, even at the Corridor 3, where I discussed certain things with them. So my advice to students who are still over here is that the first thing is to learn and pass your exams. You need to be able to pass the papers and pass very well to get admission into wherever you want to go. But the most important thing that is not taught in school is networking and collaboration. Last night, when I had a discussion with them, I told them the world has evolved so fast. Even we don't do competition now. Even in business, if you are there and you say this person is my competitor, you are doing this, it's like we are lacking behind. Now we do collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. The word is collaboration. Now you collaborate with your competitors. Oh, you can do this. This guy can do this. This phone I'm holding is an iPhone. Somebody is holding a Samsung, but people don't know that within the Samsung phone or within the iPhone phone, there are certain parts that are manufactured by Samsung or vice versa. So I told them once in school, they shouldn't say that the people they see around are the people they are going to grow up with, and they are going to be the managers of the economy. So make the best of friends that you can do here. And there shouldn't be any competition. It should just be collaboration. Because if you live in a group that you are the only person who is successful, you are not actually successful, or you are not actually safe. Because if something happens and you should come down, you will not have anybody to kind of support you. But if you live in a group and you're able to support everybody in that group to rise up with you, when there is an issue, you have all these people coming in to support you. So, in summary, when you're a student here, make sure you read your books very well. But beyond the books, make very good friends and keep them very tight, because these are the same people you will need when you grow up, being it in business, academics, or wherever you find yourself when you grow up.
Called you for this cooking to the children this time, or like their congress that they are being used in this cooking to them then. So before we wrap up, I want you to do my out on the seat of it.
Wow.
Because with everything that you told me and my viewers, right? What JD was a small one, of course. But you are CEO of Igarrage, a brand that's known nationwide, and I think worldwide. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Message of hope to my people.
So, wherever you are listening to this or watching us, one thing I want to tell you is, irrespective of whatever you are going through, that is not the end of the journey. Some of these things just come to toughen you up, because if there are no challenges, you will not be able to develop that resilience, that toughness to move forward. So I don't call them problems, but I call them challenges. And depending on the amount of problems you can solve, there's a strong correlation, positive correlation between the number of challenges you have gone through and your success. So the more challenges you have gone through, the more experience, the more tough you become. So whenever there's a challenge, don't run away from it. Don't turn your back towards any challenge. Face it. The one you can't resolve now, just push it aside, move on, and come back to it. But there are so many opportunities over there. When you begin to take out of the box and you don't give up, you'll just be more than where you aspire to be. They say life is like a pyramid. It is very clustered at the bottom, but when you begin to move towards the apex, you have just few people over there. Those are people who have decided not to give up. So once you don't give up, just count yourself that you also be at the top one day. Thank you.
So, but kindly share with them your social media handles so that they can reach out to you or to your companies.
Okay, iGarage is on Facebook and Instagram mainly. But even if you do a simple Google search, we have a page over there. You normally see it iGarage or the Intergarage. It's the same thing. So our number and our location, we are located at Adenta Frafraha on the Dodowa Road from the Adenta barrier. When you go on our page, Instagram or Facebook, just type in iGarage. Well, everywhere, just type in iGarage. You'll see our location, our Google map direction, and also our contact numbers over there. And let me tell you, we are I wouldn't say the only garage, but one of the few garages in Ghana that we can strongly classify it as an all-in-one. All-in-one in the sense that when you come to that garage, we don't finish and say, take your vehicle to this place or that place for the other issues to be resolved for you. And we have very good policies, the money back policy, the warranty, and the parts policy. So just come, try the iGarage. And it's also a training place for people who want to learn more about automobile, not just students or people who want to actually work. But if you're also a worker or whatever, and you want to kind of enlighten yourself about the dynamics of automobile or vehicle, the forces around vehicle, iGarage is a place to also come to. So contact us on through some of those avenues. Thank you.